Life can change in an instant. Sometimes it takes years to realize when that moment happened. For me, it started as a teenager with a simple Bible study. I was 17 years old when the Jehovah's Witnesses first entered my life. It wasn't something I had sought out. I wasn't particularly religious, and I wasn't looking for answers. It started with a friend of my mother, who arranged for a Jehovah's Witness to visit me. At first, I wasn't even aware of what was happening. A publisher came to my home, opened a Bible, and started explaining things in a way that felt so certain, so logical. And I was curious. At first, I studied out of politeness, not wanting to be rude, but something happened that I hadn't expected. As I read their literature, attended their meetings, and spoke with them, I started to feel something I never had before, a sense of belonging. The Jehovah's Witnesses had a worldview that resonated with me. They saw the world as corrupt, superficial, and lost. And in a way, I had always felt that too. I wasn't like other teenagers. I had deep, obsessive interests, particularly in technology, hacking, and computers. I saw the world differently, and I often felt disconnected from the people around me. But here with them, everything was structured, ordered, and absolute. They offered clear answers, a moral code, and most importantly, a community. For the first time, I felt wanted. But as time went on, I started to notice the cracks. The rules were strict, too strict. Everything had to align with the organization. I was discouraged from higher education and told to focus on spiritual matters instead. My passion for technology and hacking, it didn't fit their worldview. And then came the guilt. Every mistake, every doubt, every question became a battle in my mind. But I pushed those doubts away because leaving wasn't an option. I had built my entire world inside the watchtower. My friends, my relationships, my identity, they all depended on my loyalty. And then, after years of suppressing my thoughts, I started to change. I couldn't ignore what I was seeing. I tried to open the minds of others, but instead I found walls of resistance. The more I questioned, the more I became an outsider. Then came the day when I finally stepped too far. The organization disfellowshipped me, not once but twice. The first time I was angry, I felt betrayed, but I convinced myself that maybe it was my fault, that if I just tried harder, I could fix things. The second time, I had nothing left to hold on to. My crime, I had attended a different church during a period of doubt, and that was enough to be cast out. With that, my fate was sealed. People who once called me brother wouldn't even look me in the eye. My world, the only world I had known for years, was gone in an instant. And for the first time in my life, I was truly alone. Leaving was painful, but it wasn't just the loss of the community that hurt. I realized something deeper. I had never truly fit in, even before Jehovah's Witnesses. I had always felt different, socially awkward, out of sync, constantly exhausted by interactions that seemed effortless for others. I struggled with emotions, routines, and an obsessive focus on details. And for a long time, I blamed the organization for making me feel this way. But then I found my answer. I wasn't just an ex-Jehovah's Witness, I was autistic. It took me years to understand it, but my diagnosis of high-functioning autism was like putting the final piece of a puzzle in place. Why I had always struggled socially, why I had an obsessive focus on certain subjects, why I felt so comfortable in rigid rule-based systems. The Watchtower had provided a structure that made sense to me until it didn't. And when I left, I wasn't just dealing with the trauma of shunning. I was facing a world that still didn't quite understand me. It was another kind of ostracism, not religious this time, but social. And I had to decide, would I hide or would I fight? I chose to fight back, not through anger, not through hate, but through activism and awareness. I found others online, ex-JWs, other autistic individuals, people who had been cast out simply for thinking differently. And in them, I found a new kind of community, one that didn't demand blind loyalty, but instead encouraged freedom of thought. Now I use my voice to expose the truth about ostracism, to support those still trapped, and to show that leaving doesn't mean the end. It means a new beginning. Because we are not broken. Because we deserve to be seen. Because we are stronger together.